All right, what's going on, big dog? So I know this might be kind of old news, but I am someone who is not exactly up with the times all the time. Like I'm pretty behind when it comes to trends and people getting popular and blowing up. Like that's just not my thing. I know it probably should be with the type of content I make, but it's just something that I've never really been into is keeping up with everything. I kind of like to do my own thing, hang in the back, and then when the trends come my way, I guess I test them out, see if I care for them or not. But for the most part, I'm not somebody who gets super into trendy topics or somebody who really likes to find the next new trend or anything like that. But one trend or one meme or joke or whatever you want to call it, I guess, that I just came across literally today was this Dave Blunts. Now, I'm sure most of you know who Dave Blunts is at this point. Like, there's been several videos made about him, a lot of them concerning about his weight, which we'll get into here in a second. But I, again, just ran into him. I listened to a few of his songs. And I can't help but think that this guy blew up for all the wrong reasons. So, for a quick rundown for those of you who are like me and are kind of new to this topic, Dave Blunts is an American rapper slash singer, songwriter, that type of thing. He kind of reminds me of like Juice World when he was popular, just nowhere near as good. But he has that same style, that same kind of like angelic voice when he's rapping slash singing. And his big claim to fame, other than the fact that he apparently likes to sip lean all the time, which we'll talk about that later as well, is that he is legit like 600 pounds. I mean, look at this guy. He is absolutely massive, and it is not looking good for him, to say the least. Every other article that I have seen about this guy, every other video that I've seen about this guy over the last day now has been nothing but this guy being hospitalized and unhospitalized. I mean, for God's sakes, the guy had to do a performance with an oxygen tank on, and he even confirmed that he wasn't even supposed to leave the hospital. And the reason he did that performance anyways was because he told the doctors he wasn't going to not do the performance. He wasn't going to miss the performance. And they told him the only way they would let him leave the hospital is if he was using his oxygen the whole time. So it's a wild situation, and I just can't understand how people like this get popular. I mean, I do. People like to point and laugh and like to point out the obvious flaws in people and bring them down, and they get popular off of that. I mean, there's been several other like girls who are not attractive or people who have like actual mental illnesses or physical ailments that have blown up on the internet strictly due to their ailments, like not because they're funny, not because they're actually good at making content, but because people like to poke fun at them and rag on them. And it's just a trend that I'm not a big fan of. I would love to see everybody live a happy, healthy life and to actually, strive in this world and like benefit in some way, shape, or form. But this guy seems to be really sucked up into the small amount of fame that he's gotten. Like he blew up basically overnight. I mean, he's got almost 1 million followers or 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify right now. I think he's sitting in like the 960,000 monthly listeners range. So that's not like a small feat. But again, I think he's blowing up for all the wrong reasons. So the first one is the very obvious one is his weight. The guy's got to be pushing 600, 700 pounds. I mean, again, just look at the guy. You can Google him, look him up. He's always in the hospital. He's always like literally double the size of everybody around him. He's talked about in the past, apparently, about how he has to buy 2 plane tickets because he takes up 2 seats, which is ridiculous. Like you think that would be a wake up sign, but he seems to not really care about his weight. He did comment on like the No Jumper podcast that if he's able to get like a record deal, if he's able to, make that type of money, where he's got consistent pay coming in, that he'll hire like a personal trainer and stuff like that. But I'm so sick of that narrative. I'm so sick of people talking like that because it's losing weight is not that hard. Unless you have like legit medical ailments that are preventing you from losing weight, like glandular problems, thyroid issues, things like that, that can cause issues with weight gain and losing weight overall. It's really freaking easy to lose weight, you guys. I'm not going to sit there and say that I've lost like a ton of weight in my day, but I'm 6'5" and I peaked at about 260, 270 pounds. So I wasn't light, right? I was not a skinny dude there for a little bit. And now I'm down to the 220 range, which is about where I should be, especially with how much I lift weights and work out. Like that's about where I probably should be. I'm trying to push for like 230 of like a good lean muscle build, that type of stuff. Everybody's got their own goals, but what I'm saying is it's not hard to lose weight. Really, all you have to do is cut out crap. Like I'm sure if this guy cut out all the lean he was sipping, which we'll talk about that, like I said, we'll talk about that in a second. But if he cut out all the lean he was sipping, if he cut out all the junk food that he's eating, if he cut out pop, candy, that type of stuff, I bet this guy would lose 400 pounds. It's not hard to lose weight, especially at that size, because your body needs so much to compensate for that. Like, it needs a ridiculous amount of calories to keep up that kind of weight. Like, he's got to be consuming 6,000 plus calories a day in order to keep up that type of weight. And the average person only needs about 2,500. The average male needs about 2,500 calories. If he cut back to 2,500 calories a day, he would be losing weight like he was sipping Slim Fast. It would be ridiculous. It's not a hard thing to do. It's a very easy process to lose weight. Shit, I would train the guy if he reached out. I'm not even joking. It's not hard. You just have to follow a plan and you stick with it. It's just a consistency thing. But like I said, the other big issue that I've seen with this guy, and that I'm not a fan with, or a fan of, I should say, and it's another trend that a lot of rappers have been following, and it's really kind of ruined the industry for me. Like, I'm a big fan of music. I like listening to rap. I like listening to country. I like listening to basically any genre you can throw at me. If I think it sounds good, I'm going to listen to it. And like I said, I did listen to this guy's music, and although I'm not a fan of it, I understand why people are. He has a good voice. The songs aren't terrible by any means. Like, I'm not going to sit there and say he's a bad writer or a bad song singer or whatever. He's not bad. He's talented, clearly. He wouldn't be popular if he wasn't. Like, I think that's the other aspect to this, is that, yes, he's 600 pounds, but he's also fairly talented. And other big rappers like Snoop Dogg and I think like Lil Yachty, the No Jumper podcast, obviously the Cuck Lord podcast, if you want to put it that way. They've all, stressed that they're concerned about his weight, but they're also concerned about his lean habit. And that is the real big one here. And I think that's also contributing a lot to his weight, because apparently this guy does nothing but sip lean all day, every day. Like, that's his big thing, is that he's a lean sipping, like, giant rapper, literally. But then you have images and people coming out and claiming that he doesn't sip lean, that he never does it. And I think this guy is kind of riding that wave. I think he's just joking around about the lean. I really do, because when he was on the No Jumper podcast, and again, I just found this out today, he was on the No Jumper podcast, and apparently his cup was empty the entire time. And he knocked it over like 8 different times, apparently, during the podcast, and there was never anything in it. And apparently that's not the first time that has happened. He's basically lying about his lean sipping from, Jesus Christ, man. I don't even know what my videos are becoming anymore. But yeah, apparently he's lying about his lean sipping. But if he's not, that would be a big contributor to his weight gain. And it's just disgusting, dude. It's really disgusting that people are like promoting this guy and pushing him now. And it's just a trend that I can't get on, which is pushing people like this guy to continue down the road he's on when it's clearly killing him. Like, this guy talks about wanting to do rap and how his mom has helped him out and how, this is his passion, this is his dream. But it's like, dude, you're not gonna be able to live your dream for more than the next 5 years if you keep this up. And it's really sad to see, because you see people on the internet, like, yeah, sure, some of the comments are like, oh, dude, you need to lose weight. Oh, dude, you need to quit sipping lean. But a lot of them are just people being like, oh, look at the fat guy who sips lean. And, oh, let's cheer for the fat guy who sips lean because it's just trendy and cool, when it's not cool. Like, sure, it's trendy, but it's not cool. This guy clearly needs like some type of help. He needs some type of assistance, because this is ridiculous. I mean, he's posted photos now of him like having mental breakdowns before shows and having like asthma attacks and things like that. And he's in and out of the hospital consistently. He's had heart failure. And the crazy part is he's 23 years old. Like, listening to this guy's music, listening to how this guy talks, he's not an untalented individual. He definitely could, make a name in hip hop or in rap. And he is just never going to be able to, because he's not going to live long enough to be able to do that. And it's a really sad thing to see. I listened to a few videos and watched a few videos while I was at work today to kind of get caught up on all of his antics and everything that he's done over the last couple of weeks, or like basically a month that he's blown up. And it's really a 50-50 split on how people feel about this guy. They either absolutely love him and want him to keep being huge and sipping lean, or they like his music but are very torn about his weight and his lean sipping. Again, you've had people like Snoop Dogg come out and tell him to, quit doing that stuff. And he told Snoop Dogg to suck his dick, which was funny, I'm gonna be honest. But at the end of the day, guys, I really just can't get behind these trends. I just can't. And I'm kind of bummed out that I found out about this, because again, it's sad to see, again, a 23-year-old who is basically throwing his whole life away. And I think he's scared to lose the weight and to quit sipping lean, if he even is, because he's scared that he'll lose the fame that came along with it. And that's really sad because he shouldn't be famous for his weight and his bad habits. He should be famous for the thing that he's trying to be famous for, which is his rapping. And again, it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. It's not bad. Like I genuinely think with a studio behind him and some actual like people who can help him write songs and write, you know, make beats and stuff like that, I think he could genuinely be a solid rapper. He has a great voice. I'm just not a fan of his songs, but it's just something I really wanted to rant about. I know this is kind of an all over the place video, but it's something that was bothering me. It's something that had just irritated me. It tickled me the wrong way for sure. And I just wanted to make a video about it. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, remember, please leave a like, comment, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. It really helps out. We're trying to hit 1,000 by the start of 2026. So this year we're really putting it pedal to the metal, I guess is the best way to put it. I'll make a video coming up. I said this in the last video, but I'm still working on the video, kind of going over what my plans are for 2025 and goals for, you know, how many videos a week, things like that. I just kind of have to get my work schedule and stuff in order before I can make that video. But anyways, thanks again, guys. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. And until the next video, guys, Godspeed.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body in Harvard above me.